Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hi guys, welcome to Randomness, the podcast where the subject changes but the vibe stays real. I am your host, Brittany. Each episode we dive into something new, something interesting, and sometimes something a little thought-provoking. So let's get into it. Today we are talking about something that literally every couple goes through, but nobody really prepares you for. Those rough patches in relationships. You know what I'm talking about. Everything's been going great, and then suddenly you're arguing about whose turn it is to do the dishes for the third time this week. Or you realize you haven't really had a real conversation in days. Or maybe you just feel disconnected. So before we get into the how-to stuff, I want to say this loud and clear. Rough patches are completely normal. They're not a sign your relationship is doomed. They're not proof you chose the wrong person. They're just part of it. Think about it. You're two separate humans with different backgrounds, different nervous systems, different ways of processing stress. You're going to have moments where you're out of sync, and that's not failure. That's just reality. When things feel off, our first instinct is usually to focus on what our partner is doing wrong. But maybe, you should start with yourself first. Ask yourself, what's actually going on with me right now? Am I stressed about work? Am I not sleeping enough? Did something else happen that's making me more irritable or sensitive? I'm not saying that relationship issues aren't real. I'm saying that sometimes we bring 80% of our bad mood from other sources, and then our partner does one tiny thing and suddenly they're getting 100% of that frustration. Being honest about your own state of mind, it helps you communicate more clearly. Okay, so you've checked in with yourself. Now it's time to talk, but not during an argument, not when you're both exhausted at 11 at night, not via text message while one of you is at work, obviously. Pick a time when you're both, pretty calm and you have some energy. You might literally schedule it, just be like, hey, can we set aside some time this week to talk about how we've been feeling lately? I mean, I know that sounds unromantic, but what's less romantic? Letting resentment build for months. When you do talk, try starting with something like, I've been feeling disconnected lately and I miss us, instead of, you never pay attention to me anymore. See the difference? One invites connection and the other puts someone on the defensive. Okay, and listen like you actually want to understand. And this is the hard part. When your partner is talking, really listen. Not listening while preparing your counter argument, not listening while thinking about how wrong they are. Actually listening. Try to understand their experience, even if it's different from yours. You can disagree with someone's conclusions while still validating their feelings. I hear that you've been feeling lonely even though we're in the same house. That must be really hard. See, that can go a long way. And here's you a little tip. If you find yourself getting defensive, that's usually a sign that there's something true in what they're saying that you don't want to look at. Not always, but often, just something to notice. And you have to take responsibility for your part. Notice I said your part, not everything. You don't have to fall on your sword and claim the whole rough patch is your fault. But there's almost always something you contributed, even if it's small. Maybe you've been withdrawn. Maybe you've been, a little quick to get frustrated or angry. Maybe you haven't been asking how their day was. Whatever it is, own it. Taking responsibility, even for the small stuff, helps your partner feel less alone in trying to fix things. And it shows that you're on the same team. Okay. Reconnect with small things. You don't need a grand romantic gesture to turn things around. Sometimes it's the small, consistent things that matter most. Cook dinner together. Go for a walk without your phones. Ask each other those deeper questions you used to ask when you first met. Have a proper kiss goodbye in the morning instead of like a distracted peck. Hold hands. Make each other laugh. These tiny moments of connection add up. They remind you why you chose each other in the first place. Bring back appreciation. When you're in a rough patch, it's easy to develop negative scanning, where you're constantly noticing everything your partner does wrong. Your brain is literally looking for evidence to confirm that things are bad. Flip the script. Start actively noticing what they're doing right. Did they help out with the dishes without being asked? Mention it. Did they ask about that thing you were stressed about? Thank them. Are you trying? Are they trying? Even imperfectly. Acknowledge it. And here's the thing. When you start expressing appreciation, they usually start expressing it too. Positive cycles are real, people. And remember, you are on the same team. This is probably the most important thing. You and your partner are not enemies. You're not opponents in a debate. You're teammates trying to solve a problem together. The problem isn't you or them. The problem is the disconnect between us, or the pattern we've fallen into, or the stress we're both under. When you can look at the issue as something you're facing together rather than something you're fighting about, everything shifts. But look, sometimes you need backup, and that's fine. If you've tried these things and you're still stuck, if the same arguments keep happening, if there's contempt or stonewalling or a sense that you can't reach each other, consider couples therapy. Therapy isn't a last resort. It's not admitting defeat. It's bringing in someone with tools and perspective to help you understand each other better. A lot of healthy couples go to therapy every once in a while, and not because things are terrible, but because they want to keep things good. And most rough patches are temporary seasons, not permanent states. With intention, communication, and a genuine desire to reconnect, most couples can work through them. But here's the honest part. You both have to want to work through it. Both of you. One person can't carry the whole relationship. If you're putting in effort and your partner consistently isn't, or if there are deeper issues like abuse or betrayal, that's a different conversation. For most rough patches, though, you've got this. Be patient with each other. Be patient with the process. And remember, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is connection. And remember, every great relationship has rough patches. What makes them great is how you navigate them together. All right, y'all, that is it for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please hit that follow button and share Randomness with a friend. Until next time, stay grounded, stay kind, and stay curious.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.